Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at stuff I recommend for under 500 euros. So Christmas is now coming as I'm recording this, and yeah, so basically Christmas gifts for under 500 euros or birthday gifts for under 500 euros. So we can start out here. For a cheap guitar or a beginner's guitar, I recommend you to buy the Squier Supersonic Strat HT Torino Red. I had this guitar a while back, but I think it's in another color. It's for the price of 173 euros. It is pretty good. I do recommend you, with all guitars you buy, that you go to a store and have paid them to do a setup on the guitar, because usually from the factory the setup is pretty bad for some. And this guitar, when I bought this guitar, the setup from the factory was okay, but not good enough for me personally. So I did a setup on it myself, but if you don't know how to do that, just hire someone that does. And I think that it's worth the 50 extra euros to have it set up properly, especially for a beginner, because if you're a beginner and it hurts to play and the guitar has a poor setup, you're going to be less motivated to play. But this guitar, for the price of 173 euros, is something I can recommend. If you're going for a little bit higher tier of pricing, I can recommend you the ESP LTD EC10. This guitar is 250 euros, and I've played it in a music store a couple of times, and it feels, if you have a good one and it's properly set up, it feels very decently, and the neck is the same sort of type of neck that is on my LTD. And it's a thinner neck, so it's easier for, especially if you have like smaller hands and you want to play shreddy stuff, it's easier to play on it. And overall it's a decent guitar for the price. And as with the previous one, I still recommend you to get a setup on the guitar, because the factory setup can be a bit iffy. On every single guitar under 500 euros, you're going to need to have a setup on it. So yeah, this guitar, I can't say anything bad about it. The ones I tried have all been pretty decently set up, and they have been pretty good on average. So we go up a bit in pricing. So now we are up to 475 euros here. So this is the cheaper version of the guitar I have, my ESP LTD EC1000. This is the 256, the cheaper version, and I played this in a guitar store as well, and it feels very, very good. I wouldn't say it's on the close to the like EC401 or EC1000, but still, for the price, it's very hard to beat this guitar. Like when I played it, it felt almost the same. The biggest difference between this and the EC1000 when it comes to playability is the lacquer type. So yeah, for the price, it's very good, and probably the best guitar you can find in this price range. And now, even with inflation, this guitar used to be a lot cheaper. It used to be like almost 100 euros cheaper here before. So the price now with the inflation is on the edge of it being worth it, but for the price, it's still probably the best guitar in that range. After that, there's a thing that I think every single guitar player should have one of if you're playing alternative music. And it's the Boss DS1. And I used to have one myself, and as you can see on my screen, it says you have ordered this before, but it was stolen from me at a gig. And it's 79 euros. And if you're not using it as your main distortion source, it's a very, very good thickener for a mix when you're recording. So you can basically if you do a double tracking, you take your distorted amp. Let's say if I use my Marshall ESP 2000, one track left, one track right. You can then do a one track with this one on the clean channel in the middle, or just do the same again. So you quad track it with, and you dual track with this one as well. So you basically record one track left, one track right with your amp, and then the same with the pedal. And that's basically techniques that have been used on the Nevermind album by Nirvana, for example. And this guitar is a great sort of thickener for other types of sounds. So if you want to use that. And for the price 79 euros, it's a cheap distortion pedal. It does the job very well. And then now we're going to move up a little bit when it comes to pedal pricing. This is the product I recommend to everyone I'm talking to, because this has changed everything for me personally. The Tonex pedal and the Tonex software, that it's included with the software. And for 391 euros, it's a steal, quite literally a steal. You can go onto Tonex and download basically every single amplifier available on the planet with different cabinet setups and pedal setups and everything, and just put them in this small box that you can have on your pedal board, or that you can have plug into a power amp and just go at it. And you can basically have thousands of amps in a very small package, and it sounds so good. You can download even free setups that I have done myself. I have one right now up on the ToneNet. That's on my Marshall JCM 2000 with the greenback speaker. And I'm planning on doing more in January, doing more like capturing presets. And I'm going to try to like do a JCM 900, Fender Twin, a lot of different amplifiers, bass amplifiers. And yeah, it's basically a perfect unit if you're planning on going digital, because it's not expensive and it sounds on the same level as the 2000 euro range products. It has less features, obviously, because it's a cheaper product, but the software is great. You can jam on it on your computer like I normally do when I'm home right now. You can also like play it live and it sounds great. And yeah, it's just a perfect thing. For this price range, you can't find a better product. Okay, so now we are going to jump over to an amplifier that I recommend. And this is an amplifier that I can say for 1000% that I recommend. It's one of my favorites of all time. It's the Marshall DSL-20HR. And it's 448 euros, and it is basically the JCM 2000 in a smaller head. And it's missing the crunch mode and the OD2 mode, but this amplifier, it's for the money. You can't buy a better tube amplifier. It's an insane value for your money. And if you buy this amplifier, you need a cabinet to go with it as well. So then the Harley Benton G112 Celestion V30 loaded cabinet, it's also a steal. For 172 euros, it's basically, you're paying basically for only the speaker. The cabinet is almost included for free in this pricing. So it's ridiculously cheap, and it's a decent sounding cabinet. For me personally, I don't like that it's open back, but you can't beat the price of 172 euros like for a Celestion Vintage 30 loaded cabinet. And if you want to have a larger cabinet with that, you can just go to the vertical 2x12 cabinet here. Like, it's also 293 euros. And it's very decently priced, and I can't say anything bad about it either. And of course that cabinet is also available in the horizontal version. I used to have this cabinet before, and it's great. Especially considering it's 283 euros. It's a great price. So the prices here right now are based from the big retailer in Europe with the name T. And the prices are as of December 3rd, 2023. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you again another time.